some examples that I wanted to do was to make Relu 2 behave very similar to the later Command & Conquer games. Certainly with the ability to allow in multiple infantry to garrison the same structure. So GI can garrison structures, but let's have a look at its properties for a minute. Where is garrison building? Ah, here it is. Female voice. Ah, fair enough. Pip. Can I pip when... No. Occupier. Ah, here it is. Can I occupy UC buildings? So the Guardian GI is the only one that can occupy UC buildings. But there's a occupier... Let's have a look. UC. If I go down here now and I... Where's the Guardian GI? Occupy weapon. So occupier, yes. Occupy weapon. Occupy elite weapon. So when it becomes elite, it changes weapon. So this is how, generally it's the same type of weapon as before. It's just a bit more powerful. And if you can fire out of a battle fortress, it tells you which one to use. So it's gonna use number 1, which is UC power, I think. Yeah, I think it is. There's a bunch of other stuff here. So yeah, it would be a simple case of just copying this to the Guardian GI, and then selecting which weapon I want. And that's how we do it. So I go to Guardian GI, I go to entry only, occupier. Can I occupy buildings? Yes. So I've now changed that to yes. Occupier, yes, I can occupy buildings. But I don't have the weapon type here. So we all know that the GI can garrison buildings. So let's have a look. GI, here's some Guardian GIs. So this is your GI. Yeah, very basic, we all know that. But let's have a look. Guardian GIs.
Construction complete. Structure garrisoned.
Missiles! Let the missiles fly!
New construction options.
And they will just target. But what is really nice is that I could do this. I could combine these together. And now, not only do I have GIs, but I also have Guardian GIs in here. So how effective is this against a tank? Let's have a look. See? So effective. Let's now move this over here. So let's go into there. So that now that should be shooting that. What is amazing about this is that they will attack all ground. Even though the Guardian GIs can attack air, I can't make this work so that when they're in urban combat mode, they attack the air. So the way it works, you've got 10 of these. Let's go to this one. You've got 10 or 5, 3, or however many occupancy slots. So what it does, it takes each occupancy in turn, so it fires this weapon off. So this is how we can fire the different types. But if one tries to fire in the air, it has to wait for that action to finish before they move into the next one. Problem is, because it never finishes the action, the next person doesn't know when to fire. So it stops the firing of the units, unless they're all air. But I did experiment with it, and the only... And you can do it, but I think it becomes really overpowered then. And so I'm just going to do it so they can only attack ground. That's how the allies work. Let's look at the Russians. So we all know they work in there. Yep. Stop. This is going to be very similar to how Tesla troopers work in a battleground. And when I say that, I mean deadly. Look how quick. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay. Now look how powerful that is. Absolutely amazing.
Comrade, moving out. Order received. Moving out. Moving out.
Unit
That's a pillbox.
Moving out. Order received. Moving out. For the Union. For the Union.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
For the Union. You are sure?
Oh yeah, you can definitely see how this can be useful.
Unit lost.
The might of the Soviet Empire. So yeah, I'm getting carried away. But that's the point.
Battle control terminated.
It works, it's brilliant. And what is really nice in here is that this works with multiplayer. Sorry, not multiplayer, of course it works with multiplayer. It works in campaign. So if I go into campaign and I go Soviet,
Comrade.
skip that. So I'll show you how this works in the campaign. So I've skipped ahead and I'm in this part of the first mission of the Soviet campaign. And I'm going to put GIs and Tesla troopers together. So you'll see how effective this is in the campaign mode.
Capture civilian hospitals whenever they are found likely. They will provide medical supplies to keep our troops fit to fight longer. Capture garrison.
I love the fact that this works in the campaign. Garrison structures.
You are sure?
The point was, it works in single player. So yeah, so so the point of all that was I wanted to show you that it was working in skirmish and it works in single player. But how do I see what I changed? So if you click over here to the changes viewer, you can actually see all that I've changed. And it's only the shock trooper and the guardian GI. And these are the different values. And the way this works is really simple because it's you have a list of parameters and then you essentially just turn them on and off for certain things. So you can completely change the way the game works. I think this is how Mental Omega first started off, and then they've expanded it by adding new units, a new side, new art, you know, that sort of stuff. And they've taken elements from Red Alert 3, certainly with the future tank. They've taken the Dragon's Teeth from Tyrion Sun, they put that in here. Yeah, so there's the scope of this is absolutely massive. But I want to try to keep this as close to Command & Conquer as possible. Certainly taking inspiration from the later series. So, you know, garrison build units, you know, different types of garrison build units. I think the next thing I'm going to do is to make all refineries, not all refineries, sorry, make harvesters defend themselves. Although the Soviet harvester can, the Allied harvester can't. So I'm tempted to just give it a Guardian GI weapon so it can attack air and ground. I'm also going to give the Soviet war miner a flak weaponry so he can attack the air. Yuri's side, I haven't experimented. I always found Yuri to be a bit OP, but in reality he's actually very weak. So I might decide to leave Yuri as he is. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's just more of this stuff. Shock troopers, GIs. Other things here you can do as well. If we scroll right up the top, you've got something here called Arnie Frankenfurter. When the game first came out, in the second mission of the Allied campaign, you're in Hollywood. So you meet a lot of Hollywood stars. Parodies of Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Clint Eastwood. So they were in this game as Arnie Frankenfurter. But his name is Hero. Originally, it was set to Arnie Frankenfurter. I think due to copyright laws or some parody stuff, they changed it. But you can easily restore this. So you could make this, you know, Terminator. You can name this whatever you want. So in the interface, it comes up with what it's called. What else they did was they changed the sounds. So they changed the sounds to just a normal GI. But what we can do, Arnold select. So you could restore these back to what they were. And you can change voices as well. So if the voices were in the game, I suppose this is how you add your new voices. So look, how easy is it to add new voices or new sounds? To oh god, art sound MD. I think these are hard coded into the game. So these are all the different voices. Okay, and then you can give random controls as well. So if you conscript attack, you give a variations to the conscript attack command. So they don't say the same thing. Actually, that's really nice. I do like that. Yeah, so this is... Anyway, this is just altering the rules file. The way the units behave. I think I'm going to be doing another video on map editing. Specifically not so much how you create your maps, because that's pretty much covered, but how you can create a sort of scripted map. And the idea I'm going to use is a tower defense game. So let's pick a map, Bear Pigs. Bear Pigs I've always considered tower defense worthy, especially if I'm up in this corner up here. Then I've got this sort of thing up here, and they'll end up attacking me. There is a way to make these structures always belong to the player, and you can put Yuri defenses down, so you can put psychic beacon down. What's not here is how you select like player owner. You can give it an owner, and depends which team it is, but it's different to team and then player position. So I can get into that later. That's a different video. But anyway, I just wanted to make this quick and just to show you that these are the changes. A slight side note, I am using the original First Decade. If you were going to be doing this in CNCnet, it's virtually the same process, but instead of having the rules INI file, CNCnet doesn't actually use that. It uses a different file called spawner.xdp. So you got to rename the rules INI to that. But yeah, I'm not using CNCnet at the moment, so I'm not going to do those changes, but I suppose I will at some point, actually put it in the video. So yeah, that's it for the moment.